Alright, so today we're tackling the male torso. This is a fundamentals of wood carving project, so if you haven't joined the school and you're into wood carving and you're trying to grow your whittling skills, mostly your carving skills with gouges, knives, like the ones back behind me, and specifically realistic faces, if you happen to fit that very narrow subset of people who are trying to make realistic faces in wood, then check out the online school. And again, this is a project from that series from the videos I post monthly, and yeah, there's a link below in the description for the school, but that's my ad. Without further ado, enjoy this sneak peek of a newer video added to the school, actually, this week, as of recording this. Alright, that's enough. To start this project, we have a very basic cutout that is just about 2 1/4 inches wide and 2 1/2 inches tall by 1 inch thick. And to start, of course, we're going to use our kind of basic whittle tools, being that this is sort of an intermediate project. We've got our knife. Again, still very impressed, kind of astonished actually about the quality of the Flexcut. Out the gate, comes out so razor sharp and stays sharp for a long time. I have a strap nearby for it as well, so as I start to experience the dulling of the tool, I can just touch it up, and it's just a really nice little strategy, I guess, to continue to maintain a really nice edge. And then finally, I have a just a pencil and a ruler. So rulers are going to be handy for kind of marking important things, but let's get into this project. So the first thing I want to do is talk about the actual size of the torso, because we talked about the wood. It's 2 1/2 inches, and the width that's the height, and the width is 2 1/4 inches by 1 inch thick, but the actual torso is a little bit shorter. So the torso itself is about, let's say, just under like 2, and let's just say 3/8. Yeah, right about. It's like kind of hard to see the, yeah, close. Yeah, basically 2 1/2, basically 2 1/4. Let's just say 2 1/4. The reason I left it a little long, took me a while to get there, is because I want to be able to grip onto it and not cut myself. So I've left a little extra length that we can cut off towards the end of the project. So, to start, I'm going to begin the outline. I want to pay attention to the outer shape initially, and then I'll work into the interior shape. So I'm going to start by kind of focusing on corners. Now, I do that because it's easier to remove a corner than it is to remove a flat plane, a whole 1 inch thick section. So you'll see I'm just kind of creating angles here, and then taking those angles out, and just working my way through the wood that way. And we can flatten up the profile as we get closer. So I'm just removing everything outside of my pencil lines here, so I'm just coming in here. And the same thing here. Alright, that's looking good. Okay. Next I'm going to take some off of the top here to create the angle. So part of the reason I've chosen a torso that's not straight on is because naturally a piece, a posture that has a little angle to it, a little tilt, is more interesting. Right? We discovered that through the work, the Baroque period. Right? We got the masterworks of many artists who started to move their portraits and their human figures around in more active positions, and that made for more interesting work. So that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to take the corner off here. there's great evidence of why I choose not to carve on a flat plane, or cut rather, on a full flat plane, because it's going to carve a little bit more slowly. So that's why I tend to go on the edges if I can. That'll make things a lot quicker, like so. Right. And you can see I'm just working close to that outline. Looking good. Just working down closer to that line. I'm going to continue this and stop the camera because I don't want to bore you with this too much, but looks like kind of the basic elements of what I've done already will just be continued. I'll just keep making little cuts, working toward the outline, and get pretty close to the outline of this piece. And we'll show up in just a moment. Alright, so now we've got the sides nice and trimmed tight, and now I'm going to start making some cuts. And the first cut I want to make is an indication of the chest, right? So the first cut, I want to start from the center of the neck, and I'm going to use the measure here, the ruler, the measure, about 1 1/8 inches down. I'm going to cut the chest line, and this is going to kind of match a little bit of the angle. If you notice, there's an angle of the shoulders here, right? If we were to make a line from the top of this shoulder to the top of the other, bring this down, we'd have something very similar here. So from the center of the neck down to the his left pec is about 1 1/8 inches. This one's probably going to be, I'm going to say about 1 inch. Just going to guess. Let's see if we're right. Little, yeah, about 1 inch. A little less, maybe, yeah, 1 1/8 inches actually. Let's see. This might not be then. Let's see. Yeah, at the center it's actually about 1 1/4 inches. So I'm glad I checked that. So I'm going to take the edge, or the chest down here with a knife cut. And I recommend, if you have a picture of a torso near you, that's really going to help you out here. And of course I'm going to help you out. I'm going to guide you through the process. And so we got this. We got this. Alright, so I'm just establishing the chest by creating kind of a V, a very kind of shallow V groove. Very kind of shallow, I just said. So really I'm just separating the chest from the abdomen. Right, they come out ahead of the abdomen. So then I can actually take the abdomen down just a bit as well. I'm actually going to take the corners off as well as we go down here. Also, it would be helpful to make an indication of the end point of the chest. And in fact, I think it might be kind of neat to turn this little bottom part here into a base for the piece. Because if there's one thing that we know about bases, is that they make the piece that we're carving look a little bit more important. So I'm going to start with a stop cut around the base before I get too much further, just so I don't lose the marking, the indication of the bottom of it. Okay, come over here. And connect the base here. This is a hard piece of basswood, if I'm being honest, harder than I thought it would be. But still a hard piece of basswood, beats a soft piece of walnut, or, well, I should say American walnut. For those of you European students, you guys are, or viewers, watching from places where you might have English walnut. In England, of course. I'm not sure where else English walnut grows. I'd assume in England, but I don't know if it grows elsewhere. That's a much softer walnut. So that's a black walnut joke. Sorry, guys. For those of you who live out there, you wouldn't understand unless you carved American black walnut, which is absolutely awful. English walnut I've heard good things about. Alright, so you can see I'm kind of creating that base. Already liking that. So at this point, I'm going to start to take the edges down and take the area beneath the chest back a little bit. So I'm just using the tool flat against the wood to pare this down. Doesn't have to be a ton. Looks like we had a little chip out there. I'm going to take a little nick out of the chest. I don't want it to be this chest angle to be too far downward. This one's going to be fairly straight, whereas this one comes up from the position of the arm up here. So I'm just going to take a little bit out, scoop out of the side here. Sorry about that focus. Okay. Alright, it's at this point that I'm going to create a little separation in the chest. So a shallow-ish V-cut, like so. And I want to bring the chest down, so I'm actually going to define the neck by coming around, following that circle that I drew for the neck. His head would have been, poor guy, his head would have been facing kind of forward, kind of hanging down. That's kind of the idea here, at least. So our goal is to make him look as though his, well, his head was at one time kind of facing downward. So I'm making a stop cut in, going straight in, and then I'm taking the knife and I'm carving to that line. What I'm doing is I'm actually bringing the, it's a little spooky, taking the chest down as well, and bringing that neck forward. I'm also going to position the neck. I'm going to take the corner off of it here, like so. Try to take little bites at a time. I get ambitious with these. Like so. Okay? So there's his chest coming through under here. Get a little bit more. And bring this back again to the neck area. You can see I'm just kind of going around where the neck would be, reducing material around there. Alright, so next I'm going to take the back of the neck and cut some of this away. So I'm coming back here, tilting that neck forward, right? Also want to turn the shoulder downward. So he's got a bit of that, what is that pose? I don't know what it's called, but it's like a bodybuilder's pose where one arm's kind of up and one kind of sits a little bit more downward. Alright, that's that. Hope you enjoyed, and check out the online school in the description below for more information. And don't worry, we'll have a full tutorial coming up here shortly. Just post these every once in a while to pay my mortgage.